Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the 143 Under Review, coming at you live with episode 87.
Post week 1, and there is a lot to unpack.
Football is here.
We're so excited, so happy, especially as Cowboys fans, putting on a clinic, as it were.
That was such a boring game, but it was the best kind of boring that we could get.
I would agree.
I just want to say I think Nick and I had a great Thursday through Monday. I mean, just football after football, and just it feels good to have it back. I will say college does not do it like
it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
It's just good to have some pro ball back and to be able to watch these games. And so we're happy. We're here to talk about all of it. We've got a lot to unpack, so we'll go ahead and get started. Probably not going to talk too much about the Cowboys today, but they are featured in our Stat of the Week. Brought to you by Andrews Logistics, 40-0 against the Giants. That is the largest shutout in franchise history. I mean, every part of our game was great. And the defense takes the MVP for that game.
I mean, from the get-go, we just got on them pretty hard. Your player of the week, Tyreek Hill. He was a fantasy winner for, I know, a lot of fantasy owners this week.
Ian?
Catching 11 of 15 targets for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. 215 yards, that's more than some QBs had this week.
It was insane. Got a lot of targets, got a lot of catches, a lot of yards. It was numbers you do not ever see.
I mean, the game itself between the Dolphins and Chargers was really exciting.
One of the best games of the weekend.
Tua put up over...
He had 466.
Over 450 or so yards, so he was looking good. Obviously, that offense looks really lethal as long as Tua's at the helm of the ship.
Hey,
so you just
who said the Dolphins were winning that division again? This guy.
Hey, well, I renounced the Chiefs the Chiefs. I apologize. I renounced the Bills at the beginning of this podcast after having been so high on them last year, but I had to renounce them after that.
The Bills were disappointing in Monday Night Football's season opener. Aaron Rodgers, hearing about him. I've been hearing about him all summer. And third or fourth play in the game, tears his Achilles, and he's out for the season. So everybody overhyping the Jets all year, and the Jets are pretty much booted from
It just
Super Bowl
crumbles
contention.
all to a close before it even really starts, unfortunately.
You have to feel bad
Jets.
for him. I mean, it's tough for a season-ending injury.
They were finally going to get their quarterback, that for the last few years, it had been said that, the Jets have it in every other aspect except quarterback. So they just, once they get that one last missing piece, they'll finally be a playoff contender. And unfortunately,
we were looking forward to, as Cowboy fans, getting to see our defense beat up on Aaron Rodgers a little bit. We don't like Aaron Rodgers. Not that we're not like happy that he got injured or anything, but we don't like him, and we were hoping to see him against our defense, so our defense
get absolutely trashed.
But that's not happening now.
He was a little scared, so I mean it's okay. I would be too.
Yeah.
So after seeing what they did to the Jets,
that's why he tore his
MetLife.
Achilles, because he didn't want to play the Dallas defense, which is understandable.
Right.
But so the Jets are pretty much, I would say, done for the season, pretty much in terms of Super Bowl contention.
Unfortunately, sorry Jets fans, you're gonna probably have to endure at least one more season with Zach Wilson as your quarterback.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't really know where y'all go from there because it was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers or bust, and it looks like bust.
And we're gonna talk about this today. I think the focus of today will be the struggling quarterback play for most of the quarterbacks that we thought were gonna be really good. And one of those we have to talk about is, I mean, I would say it's a bigger story than the Jets. Josh Allen looked absolutely terrible.
He looked horrendous.
Josh Allen is the reason that the Bills lost to Zach Wilson in Monday Night Football. He had 3 interceptions, all to the same guy, Jordan Whitehead. By the way, side note, I've already told Nick this. Jordan Whitehead, in his contract for this season, had, one of the incentives, if he made 3 interceptions on the season, he would get a $250,000 bonus. Josh Allen was like, let me hook you up, my guy.
Here you go.
Through
Have them in week 1.
All 3 of his interceptions are the same guy, Jordan Whitehead. Cashed that bonus in week 1. You don't see that happen very often.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. Good for him, chasing the bag. But, yes, main thing was Josh Allen single-handedly threw that game. And then another big quarterback that has been kind of put on the spotlight was Mr. Joe Burrow. After accepting his huge contract on Thursday night, he said, peace, I'm out, already got my bag. And he looked absolutely atrocious on Sunday versus Cleveland.
I think he threw 86 passing yards.
Yeah, he ended up getting booted. They took him out of the fourth quarter. I mean, there was really no point in playing him the rest of that game.
Cincinnati looked terrible. Cleveland didn't look that good either, and Cleveland won.
Deshaun Watson didn't wow me at all. I mean, I was not that impressed with what I saw, but the Bengals offense just did not look dynamic at all.
I mean, so the Bengals, but it's week 1, so we're trying not to overreact here.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I think the Bills will be okay. Not that they're going to win the division, but they'll be okay. Josh Allen will be okay. A lot of the problem is they don't play these guys in the preseason anymore, and so it's, everyone's rusty coming into week 1. Joe was rusty. He's been coming off an injury in training camp. He didn't even get training camp. So Joe Burrow is going to take us a little bit to probably get back in, but he'll be fine. The Bengals will be fine. One guy that I would bring up that was not great either, Jalen Hurts.
I mean, I would agree.
I mean, I just thought he was the second coming of Tom Brady.
He didn't do anything.
Here watching him with Tom Brady's watching him too because they're in New England and Tom was there, and he had a 186 pass.
He didn't do anything to win the Eagles the game.
No,
I mean
the Patriots.
Mac Jones had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the game should have gone into overtime.
Yes. Or
they could have won because on the Patriots' last touchdown, right, they're going for 2 because they're down. At that point, it was 20-25. So you want to go so you can be within a field goal, right? And so they convert on the 2-point conversion to make it 22-25, but it gets called back due to a penalty. Mm-hmm. And so they go for another 2-point try, don't get it, it's 20-25. Well, they end up getting the ball back still after missing on that 2-point try, and so they're driving down the field, and they get into the red zone. They get close to the red zone, and so obviously you're down 5, so you have to go for the end zone, and they end up losing. Keyshawn Boutte, he was a rookie this year. They thought he hauled in the game-saving 4th down catch, and unfortunately he only got 1 foot down. So they ruled it incomplete, and essentially the game is over. But also, if they get that 2-point conversion, then they're kicking a field goal, and this game's going into overtime. And so, who knows what could happen at that point.
It was disappointing as Cowboys fans.
But what it came down to was that pick 6 that Mac Jones threw at the very beginning of the game. Yeah. That just killed it for the Patriots. He looked good after that, but that was just unfortunately what set apart the game.
Even though it's been a while since the Thursday night game, Chiefs lost single-handedly because of Kadarius Toney. Dropped 4 passes and gave up 1 as a pick 6. A lot of people want to freak out about the Chiefs right now and say that they're not as good as they were last year. Week 1, Travis Kelce was not playing, so the Lions took the win by 1 point. It was a messy game. It was a very messy
sloppy
game.
On both sides.
But like we said, week 1, everyone's a little rusty right now. The Lions look decent. Their defense looks better. So some upside from the Lions. They're looking a lot better than last year.
I was going to say, from what I saw week 1, I think it might be the Lions' division, possibly.
It could be.
The NFC North. The Vikings did not look great. The Bears were just as good as we expected. And now that we're talking about the Bears, I think...
Let's talk about the Bears.
Let's just go ahead. I told you last week that we were going to throw up Justin Fields' stats from every week because we wanted to
He's been overhyped all season.
silence the hype. So let's just go ahead and throw that up there. So they would lose 38-20. So
That's some garbage time points as well.
I was gonna say they scored. They had scored 6 in the fourth. I mean, it was just like Joseph said, it was garbage time points. So he completed 24 of 37 passes. So I'd say that's decently efficient.
How many yards?
The ball for 216 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
Not great.
Not great. And then rushing wise, he had 9 carries for 59 yards.
Let's compare
not all that great
to his fellow first year, or like Jordan Love, not first year, but I mean it's basically his rookie season. It's his team now. Jordan Love stat line?
Went 15 for 27, 245 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
So that's way more efficient.
And no interceptions.
So Jordan Love finished the week with the best passer rating.
I mean,
out of anyone.
You look at their numbers, and if you ignore, they both look very similar, but what sets them apart really is Jordan Love's 3 touchdowns to no interceptions to Justin Fields' 1 touchdown to 1 interception.
So Jordan Love's averaging 16 yards, around 16 yards a throw. What was Fields? 216?
Yes.
How many completions?
24.
9. So that's 9 yards a throw. Jordan Love 16 yards a throw. That's a pretty big difference when you look at the yardage per completion. And, with only 15 completions, Jordan Love was just very efficient. He was picking apart that Bears defense. And I don't want to hear any excuses for Justin Fields. There are no more excuses. It is his 3rd season. It's time to prove it, whether you belong here or not. I haven't seen it in the last 2 seasons. We've been making excuses for Justin Fields his entire career. Everyone has.
I'd like to say they. I'm going to say they rather than we. They have been making excuses. We have come in and silenced the hype. The Packers are not all that good.
No,
they're not anything special, I think.
I think Jordan Love's okay.
He's decent. He's a serviceable quarterback. He's a guy that you can win a decent amount of games with. But is he going to go far in the playoffs? No, I don't think so.
Hey, you know what rookie quarterback looked good, though? Anthony Richardson.
I thought he looked really good.
They lost to the Jags. Nobody expected them to win. But first game in the NFL, Anthony Richardson looked pretty poised. I thought he handled adversity well to where he was responding. They responded well. Nobody's saying that they're going to be amazing this year, but I think that the Colts, this may be a week 1 overreaction, but I think the Colts have found their guy. I think it's safe to say he looked okay.
At least decent for this year.
Yeah, for sure. So just wanted to shout out, give him props because we were the ones saying he was going to be pretty good.
Obviously, yes, they lost this game.
Out of all the rookie quarterbacks,
it was good to see that the Colts offense was actually able to operate and maneuver downfield.
I would say out of him, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, he definitely looked the best.
Oh, for sure. The Texans looked terrible. But also another guy that was talked about a little bit in the offseason was Brock Purdy. Everyone was wondering, was it just first year? Was it beginner's luck, I guess, what you want to say? And it really wasn't.
It was not.
He threw for 220 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Really efficient with the ball in his hand.
49ers look amazing.
Their defense crushed Pittsburgh.
I don't know if it was the Niners or the Steelers just looked terrible. But the Niners defense, right now, people are saying, it's a 1-2. Dallas, obviously, our defense just obliterated the Giants. So right now, we're the best defense in the league. Followed closely by the Niners, who looked really good as well.
I would agree. Our defense was, I don't even know what to say that
all offseason, I just want to say this. All offseason, okay? We've been hearing all this stuff about how the AFC is way better than the NFC. Okay? Week 1 did not show that at all. Okay? You had the Rams handling business, the Cowboys handling business, the Niners handling business. NFC teams, the top NFC teams that are projected to be top, we're looking great, okay? And the AFC, I didn't see much from the overhyped AFC teams that have been overhyped all season.
The Steelers were...
The Ravens didn't even look good.
Some people were saying that the Steelers would win the AFC North. Obviously,
It's going to
I
be a
don't
tight
think
division.
we ever believed that.
No, we
but
didn't. They'll get fourth.
they came out and so they got crushed by the 49ers. But another thing with the Ravens was Zay Flowers. I think he proved himself to be the wide receiver one. Obviously, there was a lot of
You mean Odell's not
hype.
the wide receiver one?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I said that. I said Zay Flowers is the wide receiver one.
Interesting.
Because they were getting him the ball, like, it was one of those situations where it's get the athlete the ball in space and let him work. You know, they're throwing it to him in the passing game. They're getting him some screens. They're doing some jet sweeps. They were just trying to do whatever they could to get the ball in Zay Flowers' hand because
the Ravens didn't look great.
he showed to be one of the best athletes on the field.
Their starting running back tore his
Achilles.
Okay.
Yeah, so we saw two.
So he's out for the
Achilles
season.
tears.
That one's pretty heartbreaking because it's like last year on the rookie deal.
He was
and
expected to have a breakout season
It's
this
tough
year.
to see that. That one's tough.
Yeah.
Not that Aaron Rodgers isn't tough, but he's had a lot of years in the league. This guy needed this year to make his contract. I don't think they're going to re-sign him
Right.
now. So the Ravens were playing the Texans and did not look that great to me. But like we said, it's really tough because it's week one. So I think after the first 4 weeks is when you start seeing kind of what teams really are. But I mean, I got to come back. We looked like we had not missed a beat. We look a lot better. The Cowboys do.
I mean, the other thing, too.
The Giants looked terrible.
I was going to say, all pregame, they were talking about the Giants' front five, how fast and physical and strong.
How Daniel Jones is going to have his breakout year this year.
How Saquon was going to just rip apart the Dallas defense and just cause problems. And everyone was so high on Daniel Jones because he had just gotten his big contract or whatever. So somehow that validates him to be a really good QB, which does not make sense in my eyes. But the Dallas Cowboys just came out and proved everyone wrong. I mean, our defense absolutely shredded their offensive line. I want to say it was 8 sacks by the end of the game. Micah Parsons seemed to be in the backfield every single play.
Micah Parsons is, I mean, the dude, there's nobody that can block Micah Parsons.
And it gets you excited to see him only in that DN position because now all he's doing is pass rushing.
That's where he's needed to be.
And
that's exactly where
I was going to say that's exactly what he needs to be, what he needs to be doing, and he looked great.
Here's the thing. What we got to do this season, man, is we got to keep the defense as the primary unit, okay? And just the offense just needs to stay out of the defense's way. So if the offense can just be efficient, put points on the board, the defense will, to beat us, you've got to beat our defense. That's pretty much how it is. I
mean, because what I was going to say along with that is, obviously, big thing, Dak didn't throw any touchdowns this week, but also on the contrary, no interceptions, so that's good. But what I was going to say is he did exactly what we needed him to do.
We had some drop passes by some receivers, but Dak didn't really do anything wrong in that game, and that's exactly what you
absolutely.
You can fix the drops.
There were Jake Ferguson dropped 5, which was absolutely brutal, and some of those were drive killers, which caused us to punt and kick a field goal on a couple. We gotta iron
that out, but also that was his first game as a starting.
It was it was a super rainy day, super wet game, so by game time, everyone was anticipating just winning it in the trenches.
I'm not worried about Jake. I think Jake will be fine. I think Jake Ferguson will be okay. He's a good tight end.
Tony Pollard looked really good.
Looked great.
Ran 2 in for 70 yards, so he's looking solid as the running back 1. Rico Dowdle has shown himself to be the true running back 2, and I think he's serviceable. He's doing exactly what you want from a running back 2. Just throw him in there for a play or two, get your starting running back out, give him just a little bit of rest so that he's not, that takes the stress off of Tony Pollard a little bit.
Yeah, the Cowboys look good. We're excited to see them for the rest of the season. Big things to come for Dallas, hopefully. A couple other games we didn't really get to talk about real quick. Rams, Seahawks. Rams handled business. Matthew Stafford looked good. Not much to say there.
Panthers, Falcons. Well, the only thing with the Rams, Seahawks was no Cooper Kupp. and that's just a gut-wrenching loss. But they won in spite of that. They still had 200-yard receivers in Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. You know, people were saying that Tutu Atwell was a bust, and he came out. Actually, I think they both had 111 yards exactly. So I would say they covered the slack of Cooper Kupp, which was huge.
Yeah, and their defense was great as well. We're seeing a lot of the really good defenses coming out of the NFC. And then just another one to make mention of, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton and the Broncos lost to Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders by 1. That one was kind of a sloppy game as well. Russ and we even said you can't expect like a new system to work in week 1. They're going to take some time. I saw some improvements. I think there's some overreaction. People are saying it's not going to work.
The thing is it's new for everyone on the field. Sean Payton comes in, introduces a whole new offense, and then it's Sean Payton's new to these players, but then also the system is new to the players as well. So it's like you can't expect them to throw up 35 week 1, but I do think there's still hope there. I'm a believer in Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is going to bring the Broncos back.
Derek Carr also got he was in a new system. He got the win week 1 against the Titans. He was pumped. I would say I'm excited for the Saints this season.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas looked good. Olave looked good.
I'm a Derek Carr fan.
Love Derek
I
Carr.
like Derek Carr.
Wish he had gone to New York.
I was about to say, we were hoping he had gone to New York because, you wanted to root for the Jets team, but it would have.
You can't do it with Aaron Rodgers.
You can't do it with Aaron there. And now there's nothing to root for because you got Zach Wilson.
They should have taken Derek Carr, is what we're going to say.
Absolutely.
And then Nick mentioned it. The Carolina-Atlanta game, I think, is the last one.
Yeah.
Not really much to talk about there. I don't think either one of those teams are going to do anything. But Bijan Robinson, the rookie, looked great.
Bryce Young was... he was getting hammered in the backfield.
He has no O-line.
Because the Panthers' O-line is just trash. Hayden Hurst looked really good. He's their tight end numero uno. And a little funny little thing that happened in that game, Hayden Hurst caught the Bryce Young's first touchdown in the league and proceeds to nuke it into the stands.
Got kind of caught up in the moment and threw it.
Yeah, I think he was just a lot of adrenaline in the moment in the game.
There's a chance they got it back, but nobody really
I hope they did. I don't know. I haven't done any research on that, but I hope he did.
Overall, week 1, just super happy that NFL football's back. We're trying not to overreact to anything that we saw, but I would say the biggest takeaway that Nick and I both had is that the Cowboys look really good.
There's one thing to think about. There are 31 teams that scored in week 1. So that was everyone except for the team the Cowboys played in, the New York Giants.
Lights out.
So the Giants have still yet to score. So we'll be watching out for that Sunday.
I think with that game, a lot of people are going to want to say the Giants this, the Giants that. They're not going to want to give us our credit, but what happened in that game is that the Cowboys were just way better. Okay, it was not as much about the Giants. It was just more that our defense was in the backfield every play.
Yes.
The Giants were supposed to have a good O-line, so, we were demolishing
and also,
them.
Their skilled positions were super hyped up. Everyone was expecting a breakout year for Isaiah Hodgins, and then in snagging Darren Waller this offseason, they were expecting big things there. And then obviously Saquon, that speaks for himself. Darius Slayton supposed to have another breakout year, and everyone was super high on Daniel Jones because he had his first productive season last year, his first productive season ever, and he just got paid. And so they were expecting the Giants to have a really, really good offense, and I did not see any of that Sunday night. So we're super excited as Cowboys fans. That defense is just looking absolutely disgusting.
And just as football fans, we're back. We have waited so long for this. It's just really good to have football back.
It really is. We got something to root for again.
Yes.
Thank you. So here's where we like to end our shows on Under Review. I've brought to you a quote from the Tom Landry. Leadership is a matter of having people look at you and gain confidence. If you're in control, they're in control.
I hope Dak heard
And that's the truth.
because we need him this season.
Absolutely.
Take that with you this week. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week with another episode of Under Review.